Welcome back, everyone. Ben and Eric here with JTAC Ranch, and recently in our eval courses we were experiencing people not understanding offset or mechanical offset. Yeah?
Yeah.
They would step up to the line and the targets wouldn't be far away, 7 yards, 10 yards, that's where we run the eval course at, and they would fire their rounds, and all their rounds would be a nice tight group, but it would be 1.5 to 2 inches under their point of aim. And they would say to themselves, well, man, my zero must have got shifted, or maybe I didn't zero this gun. What's going on? Why am I so low, and why aren't I'm so close? Why can't I hit exactly where I'm aiming? And it's because they weren't compensating for offset. Eric, what is offset?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ben. Offset is actually where you have the height of the optic over, we call the bore or the barrel. So if I'm within my range of where I zeroed, this is going to be an offset type situation. I have my height of my optic, so this one's probably about 1.5 inches.
197, I think.
Yep, over top of the barrel. So height over bore is a term you might also hear.
And we're going to live demo this in a second so you can really understand. But you can experience offset with rifles, you can experience them with handguns. It's a little bit more bigger of a deviation on rifles because you can get all sorts of varying heights on your optic. This is a very high riser, so obviously offset's going to be a little bit greater. Here we have one that has 2 different offsets, so 2 different heights over the bore. You have this ACOG here, which is at a lower 1/3, and then you got an RMR on top, which is actually pretty high. So you're going to have to compensate for that. We're going to go down and demo it live so you can see it firsthand. And we're going to tell you how you can kind of correct it, train for it, so you're familiar with your offset.
We're going to go ahead and demonstrate offset. I've got Chris here. He's got a Trijicon ACOG with an RMR on top. So we zeroed this ACOG at 50 yards. We're currently at 10 yards right now, and this is going to be a good situation where offset would apply. All right, go ahead. We're going to fire the RMR first to kind of simulate that distance with the target that he's at. Go ahead and bring the rifle up. And go ahead and aim that RMR center on the X, red on the orange pasty. Fire when ready. All right, safe it. We're gonna go ahead and do the actual ACOG next, and he's gonna still aim that ACOG reticle directly on the X of the pasty, the orange sticker. Go ahead and fire when ready. Safe it. All right, let's go ahead and check that target down range. So obviously we had Chris aim here at the X on the orange sticker, and you can see his rounds are roughly about, this is the RMR and this is the ACOG. So his rounds are roughly 2.5 inches at the lowest point, maybe even 4 to 5 inches maybe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him aim at this dot, and he should hit roughly within the center of this orange pasty. All right, Chris, you're gonna go ahead and aim at that black dot with the Sharpie with your RMR first. Go ahead and fire when ready. Same thing, you're gonna use the ACOG now, and same thing, aim at that black dot. Fire when ready. All right, safe. Let's go ahead and check target. Okay, so this is my point of aim, or POA, okay? These are my points of impact, POI. That's something that you might hear. So obviously, this is the RMR, and we compensated his point of aim for the RMR. Understand, this is also a point of impact we have for the actual ACOG. So you can see that there's a difference. You're gonna have to have a new point of aim for the ACOG and another point of aim for your RMR. So if you have 2 type of optic systems on your rifle, make sure that you're compensating for that. This is how you adjust for your offset or compensate for offset if you're in a distance that's closer than what you zeroed your rifle at. So why does offset matter? Accountability. You always want to know exactly where your rounds are going and be accountable for them. You want to be intentional with your shots. It's something that you should strive for as a shooter. So how do you get accustomed to your offset? What kind of drill could I do to get used to the offset of my optic on the rifle? all right? You're not gonna always have a Sharpie point on the target to kind of give you your point of aim. So you have to be more intimate with your rifle, put more time behind it, and figure out where your point of aim and your point of impact is and how to compensate for that offset. So Chris is gonna actually shoot at the IPSC target. He's gonna be firing at the A-zone credit card portion, and he's gonna hover that RMR dot about an inch above the head to be able to hit within that credit card. So Chris, go ahead and present the rifle to the target. And when I call up, you're gonna fire one round only, safe every time in that credit card zone, and also make sure you compensate for offset. Up, 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 up. All right, so one cool thing about figuring out your offset is once you have that first point of impact, you're gonna be able to also to adjust off of those shots or adjust your point of aim to facilitate a tighter group for that point of impact. So let's go ahead and take a look at the target. So Chris, where was your point of aim?
About right here.
Okay, so your first shot was about here. He had a couple of other shots that were a little bit high, but he started to adjust that point of aim for his point of impact, okay? So all it takes is doing those one-up drills or getting more trigger time behind the rifle to be able to figure out where exactly your point of aim and point of impact are for your gun.
The second reason why offset is important is safety. If you're shooting around structure, barricades, plywood VTAC barricade, anything, any kind of structure, offset is so important. Our line of sight might give us a clear picture at the target. That doesn't mean that our barrel isn't obstructed, like we see right here. I see perfect target right now. I hardly see any hood, but as you can see, my muzzle is gonna send a round right into that hood. Best case scenario, it redirects the round, it doesn't hit the target. Worst case scenario, I get spall off this, I get frag from the round in the hood back at me. If this was a concrete barrier, that could be really, really bad. This is why offset is so important. We're gonna work Chris through some offset drills around this vehicle. You'll see how high he actually needs to get when he's trying to make shots. Everybody likes to use cover to the best of their ability, get nice and tight and low on it, but if your muzzle isn't clear of the structure, you're not putting any rounds down range, as you're going to see. So we'll get Chris up here on the car. We're gonna run him through this. He's gonna use his ACOG for this, and you can see how high he'll actually need to place that rifle to get clean shots. Okay, on the buzzer, Chris is going to approach the vehicle, get a good solid shooting position. You're gonna see how high he needs to get to clear the hood. We got a piece of TA target steel down there at 60 yards. Just a little bit of a caveat here. We're not talking about tactics. He's not rolling his gun over flat on top of the hood to get as low profile as possible. We're just showing offset. This isn't a tactics thing. You're just gonna visually see how high he needs to get that barrel so he's clearing the hood. All right, so on the buzzer, you're gonna give me 5 hits on that seal down range. He's gonna use his ACOG. Ready? Shooter ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Okay, pause. So Chris used his mag to brace there. That's okay, if that's what he's got to do to get above the hood. Let's see how actually low he could go. So let's go right about there. And if he goes a little bit lower, he is just barely clearing the hood there. And in fact, if he dips at all, he's gonna skip one right off the hood. Fun little story. Back in the day, I was doing this with my own vehicle, and I'll fully admit, I skipped around right off the hood of my car. I did it. Anybody can do it. You get in the moment, you get sucked into that tube, you start shooting, and you're not aware of your offset. Another story, we were at a training event, and a buddy of mine, he was in the front seat. We were running sub guns. Targets were out in front of the vehicle. Buzzer goes off. He starts laying into this target, trying to at least. And he dumped a whole mag, and he's wondering, why am I not hitting the target? Turns out he dumped a whole mag into the dashboard. It looked like someone just took a chainsaw and destroyed. There were CDs everywhere, dash was everywhere. He wasn't aware of his offset. He had fired a whole mag, stuff's flying all around him, and he was so sucked into that tube that he wasn't aware. It happens. But it's important that you're aware of it because it could have been way worse. It could have been dangerous. And then in the best case scenario, like I said, he just wasn't hitting the target because those rounds were getting diverted. All right, guys, there you go. Know thy offset. It matters. It matters for your safety, and it matters for accountability. You want to put rounds exactly where you want them to go, and you don't want to inadvertently injure yourself by shooting into a barricade, structure, any sort of thing. It could be dangerous. Thank you for watching this video. If you guys see us out at the ranch, go ahead and ask us questions. We love questions. We love interacting with you guys. Take a class. You can experience offset firsthand, and you're going to get better. That's really what matters to us.
Absolutely. And if you guys can do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you get any new updates on new videos that are posted on the ranch channel.
Guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you out here at the ranch.